And hello again, boys and girls. Welcome back to the stream. It's your host Marley Startled, and because it's the weekend, we're going to swim. Well, not a weekend. It's actually Thursday. I keep on thinking it's a weekend, but no, Friday's tomorrow, and then the weekend starts, and that's going to be great. But because it's still a working day, we're going to play some casual, slow-paced games, a bit like Unity Command 2. They've just released a DLC called the Stalingrad DLC, which covers the German sort of actions during Fall Blau. Um, or Case Blue in case it's blue. And before we move on to that, I'll be playing most of the main campaigns and DLCs, and we'll move on to that if I don't get bored. And so this will be covering the first campaign, the base game, and then once I've finished that, we'll probably move on to 1941 campaign again and go on from there. I really like this game. I think it's a really good strategy game. I think it's unique and it's intelligent, and I like its take on the logistics and supply, which very few strategy games bother doing, which I really find very impressive. So I always day one buy their DLC, and I'm looking forward to more of their stuff. But in any case, we all can carry on with a new campaign. We're going to do the Victory in the West campaign. I'm going to play on normal. Normally I play on easy first so I can learn the scenarios, because it's a persistent campaign, so if you do really badly with troops in one scenario, the troops in the next scenario won't be as experienced and you'll be a bit of a struggle, but in any case, we'll carry on and see how it goes. Also, I don't think it captures frames very well in this game, so I'll have to pay attention to that and maybe go to windowed mode or do something else to that effect. But in any case, the DLC is going to jump around a bit, so it's 1943 right now, but we'll be moving on later on. That's loud. That's very loud. And the final battle of North Africa, which I really like. So let's get off to the asset. I'm going to buy another B-22 just in case. Actually, 40 points is pretty expensive. So I'm not going to bother right now, but later on I may do so for the next scenario. But it's only because it's only 3 scenarios, it's not really worth doing. In any case, let us go to end the conference, and let me go to Alt Tab so I can turn this bad boy down, as it deafens me. I also installed Dark Souls 3 in preparation for Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring in February time, but that's something I'll be playing on and off. So I think this will work. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it's not too bad. But in any case, let's go. So Wadi Akarit, April 6th, 1943. While US forces have been halted near El Gatar and Maknassi, the British 8th Army has broken through the Marif defensive line. Only the Wadi Akarit stands in the way of Montgomery's forces breaking into open terrain. In the air, the Allies have gained the upper hand, and at sea, precious few Axis supply ships arrive intact in Tunisia. Really, the Germans did a very good job holding out as long as they did in that front, just buying time and depriving resources. It must have been a logistical nightmare to support this front. So, our forces are converging towards a link-up in central Tunisia. US 11, well, yeah, it's the second corps. It's second corps, not 11. And British First Army are to try and force the passage of the eastern dorsal range and then cut off the Axis line of retreat from Wadi Akarit. Be wary of overextending your forces, though. At this stage in the desert war, there is no need for unnecessary risks. Let's take a look at our situation. Supply line-wise, we've got a nice healthy bit of supply from this rail line. Plenty of healthy supply lines. And over here, the enemy's main supply line in this sector is this town. We've got a lot of British armour. Yeah, ram it down the middle. I don't think so, do I? I don't think so. Actually, this game's got co-op, but it's versus hot seat. But again, it'd be whether or not you're interested in that. But hey ho, we'll have to wait and see. In any case, there's also an enemy supply line going down this route and this route here. Our main objectives are Savax by turn 4 and Enfidalville by turn 7 to get the most prestige. Paducah Pass is by turn 3, Macnassi Pass by turn 3, and Clyde Pass by turn 4. So if we can get these quickly, we get more bonuses. But in any case, we're going to work that out later. So the first supply line, I think I'm going to put troops down with the tanks down south first. So with this army over here, or this brigade or corps division, I don't even know what it is, I'm going to add some boys there. And then break through. Oh, no worries at all. Whenever you're in, let's have a little chat and we'll carry on. I'm going to run out of money, so I do have to be a bit careful. I don't want to overdo it. Especially because I haven't played this scenario in a while. And what I'm equipping with these guys is different tools or different assets you can add via the reserves, which cost prestige. And these can, of course, increase damage and give special abilities like suppressive fire. So I'm going to give this tank another bonus ability. And then I'm going to do the next scenario. I'm going to begin the actual phase. This was a sort of prep phase. But as you can see, we're going to try and have to break through here to get this supply line, and hopefully this would cut off Macnassi Pass, which needs to be taken by turn 3. There's a lot of tanks over here, but this is where the supply line comes into attack. I don't have to fight these tanks. I can just cut off their supply, and doing that, I can effectively kill these units without actually having to fight them, and that costing supply or costing lives. So I'm going to move this tank force over here because there's nothing really of value to be had at El Qatar. Yeah, I didn't stream on Tuesday, sadly. I was too tired of boy, but next time I probably will stream. And I'm not away next week, so I won't have to not stream next week. So I'm moving my troops down to set up, and we're going to hopefully see what happens. So my main effort first will be trying to punch through this line and hopefully cut off their main supply route. No, basically I had one of my bosses come in for work, so I'll just show him around. If I hadn't done that, then I would have been in trouble. So I won't be able to break through there yet, unless I try and do some suppression. So I'm going to try and use these to damage the units, but sadly that didn't work. So I'm going to see what else I can break through too. And I think I'm going to use one of the tanks. And using this tank, I'm going to hopefully break through again. Or punch my way through here. And sadly he counterattacked, which was a problem. One to 1, 2 to 0. So if I do a 1-to-1 on... Oh, I can just use this guy and get a 1-to-1. Or maybe not. That was bad. This is bad. Not good. So I'm not going to be able to break through this turn. So I'm going to have to try and punch through here instead. And take our Faye Pass. Our Macnassi Pass. And then aim to do a cutoff over here instead. So I'm just going to try and go round. And I'm going to have these rather long extended supply lines. But how the supply system works is that you've normally got 3 turns before you starve, your unit starve. So I'm going to be a big boy and aim to do a cutoff here. And that should hopefully start starving the enemy around this objective. And that will either force them to retreat or to counter and circle. But because I've taken this supply line, they're going to struggle to reinforce. It's a bit like Risk, turn-based, but not really, if you know what I mean. And we've taken Pied Path, which gives me another supply line and more points. And then I'm going to move this force. I'm not going to overextend here. It's a bit dangerous, so I'm going to wait for a bit. Instead, I'm going to start using suppressive fire to damage these units and get them out of their digged in position. But hey ho. And there we have it. Now they have to retreat or they're going to get surrounded. And they'll probably counterattack this unit and kill it, which is unfortunate, but there's not a lot I can do about that. I can start moving these tanks up, however, to begin exploiting. I'm not going to be able to resupply this next turn, but hopefully I'll be able to break through and reinforce it. Yeah, bold move, Colin. Let's see how this pays off. So they've begun withdrawing from the pocket, which is a problem. But hopefully not too bad. They've still got their tanks there, and they're still not fully supplied, so fingers crossed. That's not going to be too bad. But I'm going to do an airstrike on this tank. And again, that airstrike has done absolutely nothing. And then I'm going to use this unit to link back up, hopefully with the supply, like so. And then I'm going to hopefully be able to punch through from the south, reform at Sfax, and keep these guys cut off. So I'm going to use the infantry to begin expanding. And I'm going to start moving the tanks up like so. Let's move up the rear tanks first. That was probably a bad thing to do because that's blocked me off now. Okay, and so actually Sandstorm's out. Okay, I'll take a look at that. But I'm waiting because I've got to pay for the DLC for the Paradox Hearts of Iron 4 DLC. So I probably won't buy that because I've already spent a lot of money on games already. So we have our breakthrough. I'm going to start moving up the rest of the tanks and the rest of the infantry. Make sure I keep my own supply lines in tip-top shape. And I can start potentially putting pressure on these units here. But not too much, because you can see the loss ratio is not really in my favour. Let's see if I can get some more troops on this unit. I'm going to once again use suppressing artillery to knock them out of their entrenchment. And that's not worked, so I may have to wing it. But hopefully I can still break through here. Because it's a bit RNG based, depending on whether or not your artillery actually does what it's supposed to. I'm going to use a feint attack on this unit. And then retreat it back. So I've weakened this unit by suppressing two of its strength, and now I'm going to move up my full strength unit and begin to punch through myself. Because of that overrun, I can attack again with tanks. And once again, I got another overrun, so I kind of stack overruns and immediately push through to the next stage. And you can just start seeing those pockets open up. That's what I really like about the game. It's all about those encirclements and pockets, unless you're playing the Moscow 41 DLC, in which case it's all about meat grinders and massive depression. Not the end of the world, it was to be expected. Those guys were going to retreat, and for the most part I have a large amount of German armour contained, so it's not the end of the world. The next plan, I think, or I fear, will be to keep these guys contained and keep them away from the north. And sadly, this guy's gonna starve in 2 turns' time, but it's to be expected. In any case, we've got to move forward. Backs. And just keep pushing up this line. I'm not going to bother to take this HQ because it takes too much points, whereas I can just keep on advancing up the rail line. And because this is not blocking a rail line, I don't really need to do anything about it. I'm going to take one of my supplies from this sector, so I can put it down further up. And I'm going to take this tank, and I'm going to keep on pushing up this main rail line to hopefully get to Infidalville by turn 7, which looks easily possible. Because this tank's been starving for a while, it won't be able to attack me. And so I can just wait a couple of turns, and eventually it will begin to, well, go. Yeah, 2042 looks bad. I mean, it looks painfully unoptimized, and well, if I'm honest, not very good. But with lots of bugs and things like that. But in any case, as you can see with this unit here, the Panzer Grenadier Regiment Afrika, it's going to be out of supply in 2 turns, and because it's not getting new supply, its strength isn't going back up. So I can slowly keep on putting up the pressure on these guys. Yeah, I watched Angry Joe's review for it, and bruh, that's all I can say. Bruh. So I still want to take this bonus objective, because I can take this bonus objective, I can get myself some more points. So I'm going to start weakening this objective now. And there you go, he's moved off. I can move that unit in. And I've got Paduk Pass. And it's all sort of coming together now. So now I've got Paduk Pass, so it only leaves 2 objectives really left to get. And because of the encirclements, their main forces aren't in a position to defend and stop me getting those objectives. Yeah, I watched the Angry Joe review, and it was, how do I put it, very critical. See, now this full strength tank is now gone, and I can start closing down on it. But I don't really need to. It's not really based on knocking out units. It's about sort of meeting the objective. So instead, I'm going to move this tank up north to hopefully keep pushing north. And then the infantry can just begin to slowly start knocking out these tanks and closing this pocket. I'll start taking prisoners because I think prisoners gives you XP. He says, I'm not sure. And there we are, a well-contained, easy objective. So the tank's going to keep on going up the booze cruise up to Suez, or Souks, where it was going to until it got blocked. And that will cut off this supply line, hopefully, if we can just get a bit further north. And these tanks are going to converge on Kuratan. So I can get that objective. So we're going to use our airstrike, move on through, knock this out. And fingers crossed. Oh, there's no supply here. That's why I'm not getting any supply. I'm going to move this back over here. IGN did a review, and there was even saying it has problems. Yeah, I mean, if IGN's saying there's problems, then the game's broken. So I get this, but I don't know what this does, if I'm honest. I think you can use it to get bonus, but I tend to not use it. And now that we have almost secured our supply lines, we can start hopefully opening up this row line here. That should feed what's left of the force. If not, we can put down more supply trucks, which is good. I can put down 1 supply truck, which is not good. So it's a case of, do I try and expand here? Yes, because that keeps the supply open. And I'll expand here as well. Yeah, IGN is like, nearly everything's a 9. If it's not on fire, then it's a 9. Or an 8 or a 7. And if it's like a 7 or 6, then the game is just doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't. It's not even a game. like AGN reviews are just paid review central. So you can see what happened there is they've the AI, especially in the early deals or the base game, is quite opportunistic, and it will just try and slow down your advances. So that unit, the 164 left Afrika division or something like that, has just come through and took my supply line there and cut that off. But it's not the end of the world, because I can just join up with this unit and resupply. So this is pretty much irrelevant. It's not really a problem to me. And then I can move up the last troops. Hopefully. Finish them off. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, people think IGN back when it was still a magazine company, maybe was unbiased, but now it's just any mainstream game reviewer gets paid an awful lot to review these games, and so of course they don't want to badmouth them, otherwise the gravy train stops. Of course, that's just my opinion, so don't sue me, IGN. But hey ho, shoe fits. So I've had to attack and lose a unit just to keep it suppressed. And that's just to weaken it so I can move up the rest of the tank. Yeah, they were the shoe indeed. Now we've taken Enderville, we can expand some more. Take some of these HQs. And we can chill now because we've reached all our objectives. But not the cleanest, widely accurate scenario. But it did the job on normal. And there you have it. End the scenario. And we've got ourselves 190 prestige. And we can carry on from there. So when a unit is encircled, it can retreat out of the encirclement, and it can still move around. But after the third turn of being encircled, it will lose all its strength and become fully suppressed, meaning that anything can beat it. Meaning that really, encirclements are a time game, and if you don't break the encirclement or get out of it, then you can potentially wipe out very strong units. And it also means that if you're pushing too quickly and you get encircled, that you're sort of on borrowed time to break out of the encirclement and keep the supply lines running so you can keep pushing forwards. So the next scenario is Tunis, the 23rd of April 1943. Axis forces in Africa have been forced back into an ever-shrinking bridgehead in northern Tunisia. Nowhere left to retreat, few supplies and even fewer reserves, the Afrika Corps makes a last stand as the Allies launch their final offensive on the continent. And hopefully that will knock them out. Now, in fact, alt history scenarios, which you can do for extra prestige, which are a bit harder, like what if the Allies didn't focus on D-Day and instead kept on pushing into Italy? And of course it can mean like an early capitulation of Italy and so on. But yeah, there's quite a few alt history scenarios to keep you occupied as well if you are in that way inclined. But we'll be focusing on the main storyline. So yeah, another one is like Market Garden. What if Market Garden has succeeded? AFHQ dispatch. US 2nd Corps stands ready to attack near Matur. After a few days of reorganising, British 1st Army be ready to launch our main attack aimed directly at Tunis. Due to the terrain it faces, AFHQ recommends that British 8th Army be used in a defensive role. Most of its best units have been transferred to the British 1st Army. Oh no, Dawes, better not be another PP pick. You always keep sending me PP picks. You say it's meta, but I don't believe you. Oh, that's my OnlyFans. Oh yeah, I forgot. I've got to subscribe to that. Can I get my money back from your OnlyFans? Because I paid for the subscription, but I didn't like what I saw. I felt like it was what do you call it? False advertising, you know. Have you sent it via Twitch? Or have you sent it via Discord. It's just literally, yeah, there's pictures of fans. So we're going to spend some of our prestige to increase our tank strength here, because tanks are very important, and our tank strength here. And we're going to spend some points on some tanks over here, if possible, which we can't. But hey ho. Put engineers there, and we will begin upgrading our infantry. I'm going to spend a lot on my prestige early on. Oh, he sent it via messenger. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Oh, that is a nice setup. Look at that. Is that 3 screens? 3 monitors? Bruh, I'm jealous. Bruh. 3 monitors. I'm a jealous boy. I've got my laptop screen and my iPad. That's my 2 monitors. Nah, and I think the iPod's like a really old version, but hey ho. Alright, so what's the situation here? I need to take 2 NIS. And I need to take by turn 6 and Berserk by turn 6 as well. And I need to take Long Stop Hill by turn 2, so this will be the main priority. Then I've got to take Mature. Oh yeah, I'm very jealous about those screens. It's something I skimp on is display screens, because I think you know, it's a bit expensive and I don't really get much out of it. But if you get enough monitors, it can actually be a really enhanced experience. Mature by turn 4 and Kaliber. So Kaliber is going to be the hard one to get by turn 6 by looks at it, because it's so far out of the way. But I've got a strong force here, so I reckon with airstrikes and that I can punch through Long Stop Hill. And then the enemy supply line comes from here, so if I can cut off the enemies and here as well. So if I can punch through the armor in this sector and potentially punch through the armor over this bridge, I can hopefully take 2 NIS, and then the reserve armor can move through to take what's left. And then we'll eventually move on to Berserk. So wave 1 will be to push through to 2 NIS, and wave 2 will be to push up to Calibre, and then we'll finish off with Berserk. But let's find out. So can I beat you? No, I can't. So you're immediately going to get airstrike to shit. And that didn't work in the slightest. That didn't work. My eye? My eye? Alright, we already have a bit of a problem. So I'm going to have to deviate this tank over here. Alright, we took Long Stop Hill. That's fine. We're good. We're good. I'm going to keep on punching through. Re-upgrade. Keep going. We do 1-to-1 to knock this out completely so it doesn't come back. But I can't keep breaking through anymore. I can begin suppressing this, so I reckon if we do a suppression on this bad boy, and then I attack, I can start moving on to Mature. Hey, this objective, 1-to-1. Let us use let's use a feint attack on this to suppress it. That didn't work. Let's just hit it once. We'll take the hit. We'll take the hit, and we'll move up our tank to do some more damage. Quick move our infantry. Move up our HQ. So HQs you can use to have special abilities, like you can repair bridges, do emergency supply, suppression. So to use those special abilities, you need your HQs nearby, but they're normally quite vulnerable. So you have to bear that in mind. So you want them as close to the front line as possible, but you don't want them too vulnerable to enemy counterattacks. Same with your supply lines. Oh, you got it for a present. Nice, nice. Yeah, that's good. That's a pretty good present. I quite like that. I quite like that very much. So we're going to begin suppressing these targets. Hopefully going to knock them out of their entrenchment, if possible, but it looks like that's not going to work. There we are, they're breached, but I can't do anything. So that's not going to do anything. Yeah, that's a dead end. Start moving up here. And do 1-to-1 on that. I could get encircled here, but I don't care because I can just get around and counter encircle. That's a hit, but it's fine. And that's 2-to-1, that's not good. There's not much else I can do here, which won't put me in a vulnerable position, so I'm going to have to wait and halt and see what happens next turn. Oh, it's a curved monitor. I like curved monitors. At first I thought they were a bit of a meme, but I actually got quite a fan of the old curved monitors. So our supply line's a bit gimped, but that's because of the random chance I have of getting no supply. And we're going to keep punching our armor through to encircle Mature, while I try and break through even more down to Tunis. Lovely stuff. That's Mature taken. We can knock out this light tank. And hopefully we can just keep moving around. I've got 2 tanks in the south, so I'll keep 1 tank up north. It's very costly, that. We'll use one of our air attacks on the centre. That did literally nothing. I'll do 1-to-1 on that. It's going to cost me, but hey ho. 4-0. That's garbage. 1-to-1 on this. Not to 2. That's good. With that, I can finally start breaking through. If I move this here, no, that's not going to work. Try suppressing this target. There we are. I can start breaking through here. This is pretty pointless, but I did it anyway because why not? Oh, it's a monitor, like stretching your what your PC can do. I didn't know that. I thought monitors were really quite basic. But hey, the more you know. I'm tempted to move this round to try and exploit across this river now. So I'm going to move this tank around to exploit because we're not making any progress here. We'll end our turn. Some aggressive tank play, but nothing I can't handle, he says. I want to link up here and then wipe out these units, but they've already retreated from the gap, so that might be a problem. That might prove problematic. 1-to-1. I'll take that. 0-2, I'll take that. Five to 0, 0-2, I'll take that. That's the cut-off, so I'm quite happy with that situation. Finally, the tank starts being useful. Just having Streamlabs and running a game and seeing how much CPU. Oh, okay. I didn't know the CPU was important for monitors. I just thought monitors were pretty easy when it came to resource usage. But hey ho, the more you know. So that tank is just cuckolded me, but it's not the end of the world. So we'll have to keep on persevering up north this way. I do risk an encirclement here, which is a problem. I don't have enough troops to protect my line, so I'm gonna have to move this bad boy up to keep these crossings intact. And he can either move here and starve, and I'll push him out next turn, or he can try and cut me off there, but that should be fine because I've got a supply line there. Yeah, I mean, what were the symptoms of you were seeing when you plugged in that Samsung? Like, what was it doing in terms of performance? So I'm going to cross here, desert, and I'm just going to throw artillery on this position to knock it out. Oh, you retreated back into there, you naughty boy. You're not allowed to do that. Oh well. Yeah, it shouldn't be too high. It should be okay, you know. It shouldn't be that demanding. But hey, we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. Yeah, I don't think monitors should be that demanding on systems. So we'll just start closing the pocket just to be on the safe side. We don't want any unforeseen consequences. Ah, this may prove a problem. Oh, we can move back into Tunis. I don't want them to retake Tunis in case they get it resupplied again, and they're almost out of supply, so it's not really necessary to overextend. I can just keep this contained. Most of my supplies are operational, so I don't really need to do anything too aggressive. Whoa! Ban he. And Berserkers ours. Now you see those strong pot units, they're gone now. I don't have to worry in the slightest about them. So I can just start closing down and reopening the supply. Fortunately on this map, supply is not too big a consideration because it's quite a small map with lots of railroads. But in larger maps where there's less railroads, like in Russia, it can prove quite a challenge. The RNG has been very helpful to me because that's knocked that out. And I can keep going. And that's why I needed that bombardment. And that is all the objectives met. There's no need to keep expanding, but I'll do it anyway for the XP for the units. Victory! Victoire! All objective achieved. Of course, this is pretty easy because I've been playing the harder scenarios on the DLC, which are pants on head hard in some cases, especially if you're playing normal difficulty on sickle stroke as Germany. That is a nightmare to play. That's the invasion of France. That's bruh. Because I get a nice little virtual EP bonus. Hello, Petriaca. Petraka. Welcome to the stream. You're watching mildly Eisenhower doing some invasions. Yeah, full victory in the West. But this will go on YouTube. But I don't think I'll play it through right to the end today. But I will play it through to some stage. But yeah, we're going to hopefully try and get through Victory to the West and move on from there to do the other DLCs. Maybe not Moscow 41 because that is disgusting. So with the German DLCs and the Allied DLCs, a lot of it is spearheads and breakthroughs with tanks. The Russian DLCs are meat grinders and throwing away units to wear your enemy down, and that's not fun. Like, just watching your units get literally deleted every time is awful. Victory in the West is good, but you do have to be quite conservative at the start because, of course, it's quite a long campaign. If you screw up too early, you're not going to have enough prestige to get through to the last parts. And that can be tough as nails, especially once you get to Hurtgun Forest. Hurtgun Forest is a grind. Okay, Husky. For the first time since the evacuation of Greece in April 1941, Western Allied forces are returning to mainland Europe in strength. Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily, is about to commence. The skies above the island have been cleared and the Allied invasion fleets close in on the beaches. So I would recommend, in order of fun, what DLCs is, I would go with the main campaign, then I'd go for the German 1941 campaign. But that gets very hard when you do the invasion of France. So if you want an order of easiness, then you want this campaign, the Barbarossa campaign, the German 1941 invasion of France 1940 campaign, and then you can do the Stalingrad campaign and finally the Russian campaign if you want absolute agony. But yeah, the German campaign is going to be really fun. I feel like the 1940 campaign has a bit of an anticlimax because it's just you invading Yugoslavia. But yeah, the funnest part is the invasion of France. Whereas Barbarossa is great fun. Like the Operation Barbarossa is really good fun. Like massive encirclements down in Ukraine and that. Oh, beautiful. Makes my mouth water. So AFHQ dispatch. Your forces lay ready off the shores of Sicily. Once the beaches are secured, the British 8th Army should advance on your main objective, Messina. The US 7th Army will provide flanking support. German units constitute a large threat until your forces have secure foothold. Note, you will have to land one unit by sea before your paratroopers can drop. So what's our objective? One objective is Syracuse and our objective 12, Messina. Over here is a bonus objectives, which you sort of want because of the extra bonuses. So Palermo, I believe, gives you, I actually don't know what it gives you, but it gives you some good stuff. And this gives you more supply. This is sort of a semi-tutorial for D-Day, because once you, it will show you that you need to expand the beachheads and you need to get supply up, and you get supply up by taking these towns, because if you don't, then you're going to struggle. But for the most part, we should get a tank, I think, halfway through the scenario, which we can just cruise up and along to get to these objectives. So let's take a look. Enemy supply lines, main supply hub here, but we're not going to really be able to encircle that, and a main supply hub here, which if we can cut off, will completely starve the any enemy forces to the west. So let's use our bombardments first. 1, 2, 3. That's really good RNG. I've already landed. I just completely wiped out units, so I can just land in Syracuse. We'll land another unit here, so I can damage this troop, or I can't damage it because RNG says no. Oh, so expensive. There we are. Now we're cooking with that. Land next to it. Don't land directly on it because you'll take loads of casualties. Land next to it first, then go from there. So I took so much less casualties doing that. Now, a lot of these bridges have been destroyed, so what I'll need to do is get these repaired to open up the supply lines, which will be quite a problem early on. So with these paratroopers, I want to land them... take this by turn 4? That should be achievable. Really, here and here to cut them off. But I do want Catalina Airport, because if I hold this part of the... Catania Airport, maybe hold this part of the river, I'll take less casualties trying to push across. It's quite risky, paratroopers, because you need to get to them before they run out of supply, so we'll land one guy there. And we will land... Risky business, but I'm a risky boy. Okay, we're not going to be attacking there. And we'll drop off our HQs. So one HQ will go here, and the 7th HQ will go there. And we'll use our HQs to immediately start repairing bridges, if possible, which we can't do. Great stuff. One bridge repaired. I need to repair this bridge, but they're not connected, so I can't repair it yet. Trucks available. Do I need trucks now? Not really, but I'll put a truck down anyway, because otherwise the game's just going to keep on screeching at me. Put down trucks now. There we are. That's the problem. That's the thing with paratroopers. They're really powerful at cutting off supply, but if that happens, then you have a bad time. So I'm going to pull down this unit immediately. And that's not going to work, so I may end up using one of my... Oh, I can't. That's bad. This is bad. I'm going to move this up. Continue extending the bridgehead so that the US Army can repair this. I'm going to move this bad boy up. Connect these together. Oh, can I put down more reinforcements? Yes, I can. So let's move this guy out. Yeah, we'll push the tanks up immediately to break through. And we'll start putting on the pressure on these troops. I'm not going to attack this yet. But hopefully, because I want to have my tanks with full movement power before I do that, so, or full movement action so they can break through as quickly as possible. Because if I attack this and move forward with one unit, it's not going to be enough. These guys should have full supply now. We'll start beating up the babby Italian tanks because no one likes Italian tanks. And that should be our spearhead, rather well contained. So here's our tank. We can start moving down immediately to save the boys. I'm going to move up this unit to the north. And let's move it to... I can't move this unit to the south. This is a problem. I need to keep this supply line open, so I'm going to hold down. Oh, you used to live here, Dahl, did you? Oh, I didn't know that. I think you've told me it before, though. Oh, yeah, I think you actually have. So, yeah, I actually did know that. Yeah, Italy's a lovely place. Wonderful, wonderful place to live. So I've repaired all our bridge lines. So that means our supply should be able to flow rather easily through until this gets fully repaired. Then it should be able to flow rather easily through. I'm going to put down a supply line here. So my guys stop starving. And I wonder if I can... Oh, I can't. This is bad. This paratrooper unit is probably going to die, but hey-oh. What can you do is what it is. And... Oh, these units moved. Palermo. I will try to get to Palermo. I'll do my best. I'll try. Holy crap. That's got dunked on by German panzers. That was literally dabbed on by German panzers. Not bad, not good, bro. This has got to go. There we are. And we'll move this unit up there. So I'm going to have to do an airstrike on this tank. And that didn't do anything, so we're going to have problems now. Unless I get some more... Oh, we're good. Okay, we've got armor. The armor's come to save us. Yeah, sometimes it's about doing things on the fly with each scenario. But yeah, didn't realise those tanks were as strong as they were going to be. And thankfully we kept this guy alive, which really is all that matters. I do want to keep my paratroopers alive so they've still got enough experience for the next scenario. So we need to take Messina next. And so my plan would be to try and cut up north, so send one tank to the west and one tank to the east. But to do that, I'm going to need to deal with this rather irksome unit. So I'm going to use one of my airstrikes. One of my airstrike cards. Oh, I just used 2. FFF. That's rather irritating, that. Okay, and because we're dealing with supply problems once again, we're going to take this guy off. And we're going to put down a new supply point here. Yeah, just wasted 2 airstrikes, but it's okay. I'm not salty, I'm not bitter. This won't screw me over in the long term. I just wanted to use 1 airstrike, but hey ho. And it achieved what I wanted to achieve, so it's not the end of the world. You can, but only up to a certain stage, I think. Yeah, yeah. I just forget where the undo button is. In any case, it's not that bad. Most of their armor's flapped about a bit, so we're alright. So this tank's going to sort of speed along to the west. Control F4, and these units are going to push up to the north. Or I'm going to get completely cucked by panzers. Quite literally dabbed on by panzers. But it's not that bad because we've got now 3 airstrikes per turn, so hey ho, it all balances out. I'm going to waste too much time dealing with this, but I've got to deal with it. I've got to reopen that supply line, so I've got no choice but to deal with this problem. And the supply line is back open, but it's those things you've just got to not panic too much about. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. It'd be very difficult to keep pushing with this unit because it's only half supply. In any case, we'll have to because I need to move northwest. And plus it worked because no one was there, so hey-oh. I don't need that many troops expanding in the west, so I'll just keep moving troops up north now. That's a shame. That wasn't really the plan. There we are. That should be fun. I mean, we can still break through. The infantry is good enough to still break through. Just maximum copium. Keep on punching through this line. We're high on the copium right now. No. We'll move guys up anyway, why not? I've got nothing else better to do. Move this guy off. Let's keep applying pressure. Okay, that's fine. There's a lot of troops here, but of course they're all starving, so even if they try to counterattack, it's not going to be the end of the world for me. And plus, I should have a new tank coming up soon, which I do. Ugh. Hands up! Imagine, unironically, having tanks with no air support. Who thought that was a good idea? Yeah. Goodbye, tank. I should be able to get to these by turn 7. I should do. It's just that RNG's bummed me once again with a lack of supply. I wonder. Oof. Not worth it. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. The tanks are too important. I got to keep that XP quite high for the later scenarios. Let's just keep applying pressure here. Ah, hi Hoffman. Welcome back to Victory in the West. This tank should punch through. Oh, what? Why no punch through? Why you have to be bad? Why you have to be bad? Pretty mauled right now. I'm getting absolutely dabbed on by random German Fallschirmjäger. I can't hit you. I can't touch you. Yeah. This has been a wasted turn. Yeah, no armor shift and mounting. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And now they can break out, which is an absolute nightmare. But don't worry, I have a plan. It's called copious amounts of airstrikes. There we are. There's a worthy sacrifice. The engineers did a good job. Okay, maybe not. And we can keep on aggressively pushing here. Oh, no worries, Dill. Have a good day yourself, and I'll definitely keep an eye on Steam. Oh, I'm getting absolutely slapped by my lack of supply right now. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. But in most scenarios, especially in Victory in the West, you should have plenty to be able to afford plenty more engineers and things like that. So it shouldn't be that bad in the long term. That's too dangerous. Okay, we'll leave it. We'll leave it. We're not going to not be too aggressive. Don't die, tank. If you die, I will be very unhappy. That's a good boy. There we are. Are you joking? Okay. Job done. Yeah, that's what I like. And these boys will come back as long as you don't lose them. You can reuse them again. Panzerlehr? No. Panzerlehr? Panzerlehr. Don't really need to worry about you that much. Yeah, you're right, I can. Leaves me a little vulnerable in this sector, but we should be alright. Should be alright. He's no problem, comrade. Move up this HQ. Indeed. Absolutely Petrica. I just poured Coke all over myself. Ow. But that's a problem there. Can I take this by turn 12? Yeah, I've got plenty of time. I can go slow. Don't do this, please. Don't do this. Damn it. That's fine. This is fine. This is not fine. These guys will lose strength I think next turn, but because everyone else has no strength, it shouldn't be that big an issue. And we should be able to take next objective, but this is one of the issues with naval invasions, is the fact that the RNG supply can sometimes really mess up your plans and you have to work around it. In this case, we were fine because actually by delaying, now this guy's out of supply, but because this guy was already damaged, it's not that bad. It's not that big a deal. I'll just pull this guy back. Punch through here. Bring up the tanks, and we should take it by turn 12. Oh, silly me. Silly me. Bad, bad. Misclick. These guys can show, I don't need to move them anywhere. So, yeah, I got that sweet overrun, so I was... Oh, I did, didn't I? I wasn't paying attention again. There you go. There we are. Thank you very much. You're gonna keep on telling me these things, because sometimes I don't pay attention, I'm just clicking away too quickly. But hey-oh. All objectives met within the time frame. And yeah, why not? Although I did waste a lot of my cards. Primary objectives taken on time. Yay. Supply plus 30%. What does that mean for me? Nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And there's the end of the first batch of scenarios. So we move on to the next conference. I've got a load of cash. And I'm going to sell this bad boy. So I can buy another B-52 bomber. And potentially buy this air supply. But I believe I get this for free doing something else in one of the Italian campaigns. So this will become important later. But it'll be quite risky. Because I may need to use this to get one of these special objectives. Nah, you know what? We'll be fine. Yeah, it does seem... I don't even know how to use the card. It doesn't make any sense to me. So when you get it as a bonus, it's like, oh, yeah, in the bin it goes. But yeah, special bonuses are not very good. Now, the things I do care about is operations. I do like suppressive fire. Suppressive fire is a very good way of weakening enemy positions. Feint attacks, meh. But yeah, this stuff you don't really need. Towards the end of the game, you'll be needing the river crossing, the salt crossings. But for now, you don't really need to worry about any of that. But anyway, carry on. Yeah, I'm not even sure how it works. I mean, you keep experience, but things still cost the same. It's not really worth it. So, Avalanche. September 9th, 1943. Italy surrendered, but the Germans were prepared and moved quickly to disarm their former allies and occupy most of the Italian mainland. British 8th Army has crossed the Strait of Messina and also landed troops by sea at Taranto. However, the main Allied effort is at the naval landings near Salerno, Operation Avalanche. So these are pretty easy levels until you get to D-Day, and then it sort of spirals into hell and hatred. But you can see these bonus objectives, so taking these objectives will improve your situation. So if you take these objectives in like the first scenario, in the second scenario things get a lot easier. And so it means that, oh, it should do in theory, but actually it doesn't. But you know, it depends on the scenario. But in this one, you do want to get these fellows, because if you can breach the Gustav line by this scenario, you don't have to breach the Gustav line. You just have to hold the Gustav line in that scenario. Makes life a lot easier. You just have to hold that bad boy. Your forces are split into 3 separate groups. British 8th Army is advancing up near Calabria while simultaneously landing forces in Taranto. Finally, US 5th Army is landing near Salerno. We'd expected little opposition, but now reports indicate the Germans were prepared for the Italian surrender. Powerful enemy units might react to your landings near Salerno. So our strategic situation, we've taken Sicily, and we're starting to punch up north. But we will be delayed by these damaged bridges. Now, early on, if you don't know how to build bridges, you can be really cucked by this. But really, for about 1 to 2 turns, we're going to be halted by our advance down south. Equally, we want to move there to get more prestige, but we're going to have to push all the way up to support the Allied landings at Salerno. If we can land at Salerno and keep a beachhead, we can quite easily move into Napoli, and then from there start expanding out of our reinforcements. The key issue will be the Gustav line, because you can see those 2 bridgeheads. It'll be very difficult to punch across, so you want to be punching across early or as quickly as possible, so you can get to that Gustav line before the German panzers turn up, but it's all dependent on the situation. Ortone is also good to have, and this is a bit more lightly defended, so it's quite a nice and easy target to break into. But it's all about how aggressive you want to be, because it's quite a large map and it's quite wide, and you may end up getting encircled quite a bit. And down here, I always get screwed up here. You've got some special forces troops. Now, I believe you've got to move here first to get more special forces reinforcements to move elsewhere. But sometimes I forget to do that, and I end up having all my special forces guys starve. So I'll have to bear that in mind. Anyway, the only troops I can deploy or upgrade are the 8th. So we'll upgrade our Canadian infantry or replace their units. Give these guys a quarter pounder. And you may as well just give them some arm bonuses as well, because we've got a ton of money, so why not? I like to use artillery and engineers where possible. And really, if you can't be bothered to count or work these out, general rule of thumb is the most expensive ones are better. So I've just done a double arty job on that. And we'll probably not spend any more money. We're going to move our HQ as quickly as possible up north, because there's not going to be a lot of enemies there, and we're going to need that HQ to be as close to the pusher as possible to allow the repairing of bridges and supply. I don't think we need a supply depot put down here. No, we've got the road line, so we don't need to worry about that. And enemy supply is coming through here and through here, so it's unlikely we're going to get a lot of cut-offs, but if we can secure this part and then hopefully secure this intersection, we can starve what's left of the enemy forces. So let's begin. I'm going to send 1 unit immediately up here with that objective secured to get extra easy points. Repair the bridges. And have this tank on standby behind. Begin our beachhead landing. Just gonna make to check where I can land these guys. And we'll put down our HQ. So I can deploy more units here, which is important. Can I deploy more units here? Yes, I can. So I'm going to move up to take Gloria Airfield. I'm going to use my airstrike. That's going to do nothing and screw me over. I'm going to move this down to Bindiki. So we can keep that supply line open, and then we'll start moving up to Barry and all that sort of jazz later. Not going to waste my naval bombardment or my saturation strike yet. Oh, free. Yeah, boy! Free money! Always check, because you never know, you get some free, free elite units. Oh, it's raining, boys! Okay, let's start. Apply. Yeah, we're fine. A lot of panzers, which is a problem, but we'll focus on that in a second. Let's focus on pleasant forts for now. This tank's going to move forward to counter this force. You want to get emergency supply. Do they? Let's work it out. Don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll be real with you, Chief. But it's not too bad. So I don't want to focus too much on breaking his position, but I'm going to have to do something here. Keep breaking through. So I can reorganize my forces and join up so I can keep punching north. But I want to use the saturation tactics on these units here so I can weaken the tanks. Because if I can weaken the tanks, then they should hopefully be halted and stop their advance onto Salerno. Not a great deal of help, but hey ho. We're going to play cautious here. Barry, my arch nemesis. Oh, you mofo. Take this airfield. By turn to... Oh, I've tucked myself. No airfield for me. Cursed. That's cursed. Oh well. I should have used one of these on that. Unless... No, that's never going to work. I'm going to use this on this panzer. Just to keep it nice and weak. And we'll keep on going. But I'm a bit upset I didn't get this, but sometimes I always screw that up. But hey, I don't think I could have used that airstrike anyway. A minor setback. A minor setback. I can easily close that back off. There we are, and we can start expanding. Get off my port. Thank you. Gonna resupply you. Advance up. And use what's left of the force. Keep expanding. I'm going to move the tank to secure the Gustav line. Damn you. But yeah, this is fine. This is a bit chaotic, but it's not the end of the world. I don't think that I'm in a position where they can break through and take the landing, so we should be all right. I'm going to put down some supply lines here. And see if that works. Damn you. I'm going to use an airstrike. I've got to use an airstrike on this to wear it down, otherwise we're going to have problems. Lovely stuff. Reached, but not taken yet. Gustav line by... Damn it, miss Barry again. F. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. But how you would do that? I've got a bit screwed over in RNG here. But how you would normally do that would be using these and using some of your special abilities to knock this out. But sadly, I did neither of those things, and in consequence, I ended up getting slapped. But still, we are going to get to the Gustav line by turn 11, so it's not the end of the world. That is a really big problem. Unless I can do some cheeky stuff like that. There we are. We're fine. We're pretty much on the doorstep of the Gustav line, and my tank is fully supplied again. I really don't know how to deal with you guys because I don't have any decent units. Unless I use this and immediately lose. Time to waste a naval bombardment. Not bad. And plus, I'm pretty sure I can cut these tanks off. But they can also screw me over massively if I don't retreat. Fine, this is fun. It could be an awful lot worse than it actually is. Okay. Good. Line secured. Crisis averted. Foggier by turn 9, and I need to get this by turn 11, so I'm gonna have to do some big brain strats here. Start moving the tanks around and being rather aggressive. That tank's surrounded. Oh, I forgot about these guys. Bruh. Bruh. It's not the end of the world. We did alright with what we had. And I should get to Altona by turn 11. That's all I gotta do now. Acceptable losses. It's only infantry. And plus, I'm going to blow you up now. That was a silly thing you did, wasn't it? Now, what possessed you to do that? Anyway, on to the gravy train. I'll leave this units down here just to make sure no naughty boys come and get me. This is a mistake I've made, another mistake, so you can tell this is a mediocre player by the fact I have left my HQs behind, too far away from my main units, meaning that I can't use their special abilities. How's the supply? Oh, we're good. We're fine. Silly boys, that's my objective now. Job done. So, next turn we'll be able to take the objective. Altogether, not the best Italy I've ever played. The big mistake I made here was I got screwed with RNG against these bad boys, which meant that I couldn't get those extra cars and extra supply, extra points to pad my stats for the next scenarios. Apart from that, not too many other mistakes, but really this area was a bit of a failure. But this tends to be RNG central because if you don't get suppression or you don't have enough cards, you get screwed over with the bombers and stuff like that. Then you can't take these capture cards, and you have to restart. So that's why I couldn't take this or Barry. But hey ho, hey ho. I'm gonna pull my guys back so I don't starve, and then we're gonna chill. Oh yeah, fine. This is what you don't want to happen. You see the city in ruins sign. That means because you've been bombing it, you've actually made it harder to attack now, and they'll get like extra defenses and entrenchments or extra defensive bonuses because of their city being in ruins, which makes it an absolute nightmare to take. So it's a double-edged sword. There's always a risk using your fighters, your bombers, because sometimes it can actually screw you over when attacking units out in cities. In any case, we have made our punch throughs. We've taken all the objectives except for the fuel one and the extra card one, and we're doing comfortably on the reserve cards, so it's not that bad. Oh, it's RNG at its finest. And we've still got one bomber left in reserve, just in case things do get a bit hairy. But let's end the scenario. The Volterrano Line. The Germans have managed to establish a stable front line from the Tyrrhenian to the Adriatic. This line, the Volterrano Line, is the first of many such prepared defensive lines that the Allies will have to breach on their drive north. Combined with ever-worsening weather, the Italian campaign was beginning to resemble the First Great War. So because we took those bonus objectives, we'll be in a different position than what we normally would be if we had been a bit slower. However, if we can keep the next two bonus objectives, we will also be in another better position. But sometimes the game's logic on what counts as a better position is in fact a worse position, and you're going to see that in this scenario. So I feel like this is actually a worse position for the south than it is normally. So the Volterrano Line. The Germans have begun establishing defensive lines along the routes leading into northern Italy. You must not allow them the time to fortify these lines. This will not be an easy task. However, since autumn is upon us, and with it rivers of mud, this is no longer the sunny Italy of the past few months. So when I explained the badness of the current situation, our main breakthrough, because we held this breach, is actually starving because this bridge just got blown up. And so it's quite easy to overlook this because it's hidden by this little sign here. So a lot of new players are like, my guys are starving, I don't have a clue why. It's because of that bloody bridge. So the first thing we're going to need to do is salvage this situation with bridge defenses. But because we broke through in the north, we have an easy move into Pescara, so we don't have to worry that much about it. So first things first, we're going to move the American troops down over here. And then we're going to start upgrading or reinforcing our units where possible. Because they are going to be really hit rather hard. So I always buy the most expensive. Or I just don't actually bother half the time. I just like buy stuff until I run out of money. But it's got me this far, and that's what counts. Gonna add some commandos, add some more infantry, add some armor. Because you get loads of prestige in the base campaign. And then we are going to end our turn. That's if I cannot... No, I've got to end my turn. So the first thing we're going to do is immediately repair that bridge. Because if we don't, we are effed. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to start softening up these enemy lines where possible. Because if we don't, we are effed. And so far, that hasn't been working very well in the slightest. Yeah, and we need to repair the bridgehead here as well. Lots of broken bridgeheads, which make me cry. Nothing we can't handle. So I can't use suppression on this, but I can on this. So I'm going to start suppressing some of these units where possible. And And then I'm going to see if I can put some pressure on this unit here. Which I can, so hey ho. Damn it. Oh well, not the end of the world. Put a supply line down. Any more Buckshee tanks for me? Of course not. Might be too easy. But now we're going to get hit by an onslaught, and we are going to lose some armor against the excessive numbers of enemy troops, which are now going to be throwing themselves upon us. But hey ho. Not much you can do about it. I'm pretty sure I told you to repair this bridge. I have, but it hasn't logically worked out yet. Like, they're no longer starving. To be expected. You're never going to hold it initially. And the main focus really is punching through here for now. Damn it. Yeah, we're good. We're just going to start using our air now to reaffirm our positions. Can't do anything to you, but that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I am pushing through mountains, but... hey ho. Bit of a problem. I think I will need to expand, so I need to better take this by turn 8. But this shouldn't be too difficult to do as long as I do this intelligently. There we are. Not going to bother doing any airstrikes here, but I am going to do another bombardment on the Rapido River. Just to weaken it. I've got to get that boy nice and weak so I can push these guys off. And then I won't really have to worry about any potential future counterattacks. So with this taken, all I have to do now is hold this part of the river while I move most of the rest of my armour down to keep this breach open against the hordes of enemy tanks there. But they're all rather weak apart from the motorised or the mechanised. All I gotta do is give you a slap. Bonus? Yay. Free bonus. Free monies. That's not going to work. Still got plenty of time to get rid of this, so I'm not going to overdo it. I'll just keep slowly wearing them down. And over here, I can just hold, or just blow these up if I want to. Nah, there's no need. We can just wait. We can just wait. Yeah, even the AI realizes I ain't going near that. I ain't counter-attacking that. RNG! Yes, RNG saved me. That did not help. I didn't want to do that. How do I undo? How do I undo? Because that is a problem now. I don't know. We'll just have to wing it. That works, just about. 1 to 1. We can wait another turn. I don't have to take it till turn 8. Turn 8, let's do this. Oh, he's re-dug in. That's a nuisance. You wouldn't really do that either, if I'm honest. Hey-ho. Gala can be an absolute nightmare to push into because of its dug-in troops. So I'm going to have to start wearing it down. And just bite the bullet. I had hoped to weaken it some more, but because they kept on getting resupplied, it was a bit difficult to do. But in any case, that was an easy objective. So as long as you repair the bridges, make sure you can reinforce and keep this part side of the river, you're good. And as long as you can have enough suppression, enough artillery units to do the suppressive fire, you should be fine in this scenario. You should be fine. Monte Cassino. Allied forces are stuck along the Gustav Line, a string of carefully prepared German defences stretching from the Tyrrhenian to the Adriatic. Bad weather limits the effect of Allied air supremacy, but the Allies' rule of the seas might yet prove decisive. Imminent large-scale landings near the town of Anzio aim to outflank the Gustav Line. Taking one of these objectives will enable you to only take Rome and Monte Cassino. That will give me potential to do a different strategic option instead of going the historical route, but we probably won't be doing that, so there's no need to do that. So I can take my sweet time if I want. One of the more enjoyable ones if you've got paratroopers. So the Germans have stopped us cold along the entirety of the front. In more than one sense, the cursed mud is now joined by snow at higher altitudes. But all is not doom and gloom, Commander. AFHQ have seen it fit to free up large amounts of shipping to launch Operation Shingle. Heavy attacks on the Gustav Line combined with these landings behind our enemy's front line will hopefully cause Gustav's line to crumble. So, because we took Pescara, we're in a very good position now. Whereas if we were in the previous scenario, we'd have to try and break through here to begin moving into Rome. Now, what you can do to cheese in this scenario is if you've got a paratrooper cart, you can land it, say, here and starve this entire line. And as long as you can get your troops over there in time with the air supply, you're a safe boy. Same with paratroopers over here. If you can like land them on the supply line or land them here, as long as you can keep the supply lines open, you shouldn't have too bad an issue trying to break through. But sadly, we weren't given paratroopers, so hey ho. Well, as in the paratrooper cards, which is unfortunate. So immediately going to start adding these bad boys up. Give these guys some free infantry. Give them some US, actually not free infantry, just expensive infantry. Aid infantry, yeah. The good thing about this scenario, or this this campaign, is that you do get given a lot of resources, so you can spend as much as you want, and it's unlikely that you're going to, you know, run out, as long as you meet most of your objectives. So I might as well just fully upgrade these guys because, well why not? And I'll leave some in reserve just in case. So, how's our resources? Not bad. Do I need to repair any bridges? I do. Do I need to repair any bridges? No, I don't. Good. I'm in a good spot. Let us go. Oh, do I need supply trucks anywhere? I'll put a supply truck down here just in case. There we go. So I can try and land up here and be a cheesy boy, but that's not going to work because the paratroopers have got very limited expansion potential. I can land them like here and cut these guys off, but it's a bit of a big risk. So what I'm tempted to do is just do my landing first, and then go on from there and see what is worth doing. Can use this to see if there's anyone on Route 6, which there isn't. And I can try and punch through here. So this tank is not going to be that much of an issue for me. These guys will be an issue though. I'm willing to take that risk. Lovely. Even though you are still hot garbage, even with flat. This is good. Happy with that. Land my paratroopers here, potentially. And use these paratroopers. No, I can't. What a shame. Oh well. That isn't a big oh well. Anyway, let's send these tanks further north. That's a big bruh moment. Let's start doing our saturation shuffle up north. Because that's going to take some time to break through. And we can begin saturating Monte Cassino and all that jazz. How's the supply? Let's put a supply line down there. Not. Put supply down here. Actually not. Actually, let's just not bother, shall we? Because that's not going to work. I doubt it. I'm going to have to bring this guy back just in case we do get trolled by the Panzer Grenadier. We'll just have to go from there. Maybe take the supply from this sector? No, it's not worth it. Whoa, I don't want that. Fine. The Blitzkrieg to Rome. Which really is not that impressive. How's the damage? Okay. Unless they keep on punching through the Rome. Even though we are sort of stalled because of how good these units are. Quite a lot of well-equipped units, which is proving problematic. Move this forward, do a little feint attack. Do also pressure fire on that. And once again get blocked by the never-ending wall. Nice. Fall back. Cut this off. And these guys should now starve with impunity. But then again, my guys will start starving as well, so this may be a numbers game. In any case, we've still got to keep on trying to do our best to break through these tanks. Well, to keep these tanks at bay. It's easier said than done. Easier said than done. Anyway, let's carry on. Should be breaking through the Rome, hopefully. Yeah, take Rome by turn 8. I mean, we've still got plenty of time on the clock. You gonna retreat off that? Or am I gonna have to come and slap you? I'm gonna have to come and slap you, aren't I? That is my Anzio, not your Anzio. But now I can't use that Anzio because of these bad boys. Not the end of the world, it's just tedious. Keep punching through. I'd hope these guys may have some extra equipment, but they don't. Ugh. You retreat off, you switch out, and you come over there. I've been absolutely cucked up here because I don't have any paratroopers. Yeah, feels bad, man. because you can sneak through here and it's like dominate, but this time it has not worked. How many turns before you starve? 1 turn, so we'll drop a supply line there, and we'll drop a supply line there. And send the rest of the army further north. Sadly, I can't drop off my units because of that guy, but it's not the end of the world. The aim here will be trying to cut these guys off. Boop. Easy, easy clap. So all we got to do now, how are you guys not starving yet, bruh, is push through to Rome. You could have cut these guys off as well, but I couldn't manage it with my current resources. Plus, I don't really need to by the looks of things. They don't look very strong. Route 6, can I take that by turn 4? Probably not, but in most scenarios I would be able to if I had the glorious help of my paratroopers. But I'm not bitter. No, I'm definitely not bitter. I'm not mold. Oh, the infantry. Who cares about infantry? Well, I'm so disappointing. I thought I was going to get actual decent troops. In any case, let us weaken this position so they don't counterattack and wipe me out. And these guys are still stuck. RNG has not been kind to me today. Hey ho. Because these guys are cut off now, I no longer have to worry about this crap anymore. But these guys are also undersupplied now, so that's a consideration I need to take into account. Maybe if I move up here. That's not going to work. No, it's not. Oh well. Monte Cassino by turn 9. I can still take Monte Cassino F by turn 9. Although you just will not starve. Let's take Rome first. Or not, because the game hates me. Let's see what things. M10 and a howitzer. We'll hopefully have you guys okay. Put that guy there. Put this guy here, and hopefully this will be enough to take Rome. If not, then oof. That's all I can say. Well, these troops drive me mad. Finally, a breach. That was awful. I couldn't break through at all in the northeast. Ow. Don't you retreat. Don't you retreat now. It's your own fault. I'll take the 1-to-1. Oh, we still need to try and break through here. Oh, we're good. We're good. Feels good. Not so tough now, boys. Rome's taken. I'm a happy boy. We can chill out. I can also start breaking through here now. No thanks to anyone but the Germans themselves. What is this tank? This British armoured tank is garbage. Like hot garbage. You're going to need to repair a bridge. That should keep you guys from starving. And that also will keep you from starving as well. I have no sympathy for that armoured column. That armoured column was awful. It achieved nothing of value. Turn 9, Monte Cassino. Easy. Easy clap. And all the objectives taken. So Route 6 not taken, but that's not really an important bonus objective. That's not a proper bonus objective. That's a babby objective. Absolutely slapped by this wall over here. So before we end this scenario and end the day on the stream, effectively what happened here was a bit of really bad RNG. Depending on what card you get, which are random per conference, you can get some paratroopers. If you get some good paratroopers, you can drop them, say, here, and just starve the entire German line, allowing you to punch through from the north using your resupply on the paratroopers and come roaring down south and just encircling the entire German force. Fortunately, that didn't happen. So what I had to do instead is a rather slower push along the south coast. That means it's quite difficult to take Route 6 unless you want to YOLO in with paratroopers, which you can do. I just don't want to waste paratroopers. But you can also do that to get that point. So I could have done that earlier to get Route 6 because there's no one on it. But instead, I had to move along the coast to punch through here and eventually link up and surround Monte Cassino. Monte Cassino is pretty easy to take in the long run because as you start putting pressure on Rome and the rear supply lines, a lot of the German units would begin to withdraw. That means you can move your infantry around and start to starve the Germans at Monte Cassino. As long as you do it early enough, then you don't really have to have much of a fight for this objective. What becomes a problem in this game is, in this level, is that if the RNG is not in your favour and you don't have enough prestige or anything like that, the German armour columns can be very, very strong and they can counterattack and collapse your advance into Anzio and just be a general massive nuisance. And this time we were quite lucky with the RNG saturation bombing and a lot of the airstrikes, things like that, and the suppression on these tanks, meaning that we could push through even with our weaker tanks. Altogether, a pretty successful objective. I'm going to move this further up as well, just in case. This guy may yeet to Anzio, so I'm going to move this force down as well. And there you have it. There's your victory. Although I always get upset when I don't get a fully green victory, but within the timeline, no issues here. And the early fall of Rome, you get that bonus for knocking out Rome early. Next conference. Now, because... Oh, let's first get our... Oh, we got one of those pieces of garbage. That's awful. Let's spend our money on the saturation strike and the sabotage. So, because we took those objectives early, we can now do the historic route, hold the north of Rome and then switch to D-Day, and then you start doing the D-Day scenarios. Or you can do the rush for the Apennines, where you advance ahistorically, continue to advance down south, and then do D-Day with a weaker force, where you aim to knock out Italy early in the war. These scenarios are normally a lot harder, but of course they're more they're unique and they add more to the game and they give you more content and generally just give you what-if scenarios. And these the north of Italy starts becoming more open. It's actually quite fun to play doing the Italy front. Market Garden is not fun to play, and winning Market Garden requires a lot of cheese and paratrooper spam and holding your cards with hindsight and having a load of paratrooper cards. But that is a rather painful, alternate history campaign. And there's another alternate history where you would take Berlin early and have a Cold War become a hot war, and you have to deal with a load of German, Russian tanks, and it becomes an absolute nightmare. But in this case, we're going to stick with the historic focus. I'm going to go from there. Because I've played this campaign before, I'm not investing in bridges or this yet, but as time goes on, I will begin investing in these bridgeheads for the later scenarios. But in any case, we're going to end for the day, boys and girls, and we will call it that. We will hopefully continue this on tomorrow or later on in the week, so we can perhaps move on to the DLC. If I get soft locked on this by being too bad, then we'll just call it a day, and we'll say that's a defeat for me. But I am not the best at this game, but I normally know from hindsight and constant failures eventually how to do certain scenarios, and I haven't beaten any of the other campaigns on Medium apart from this one, but hey ho. Anyway, thank you all for watching, boys and girls. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you all later. So adieu.